Oh, listen, overall, I don't think they've done a great job. I mean, they still need more weapons for Jalen Hurts. I know they got Devontae Smith, but I mean, they struck out with Rager unless he's going to maybe be a late bloomer. I don't know. They got a couple of picks. They made that trade with New Orleans. I could see them going DB and wide receiver with those picks. I think both are in the teens.
Welcome back. National Football Show with your boy Big Sills. I want to thank Larry Brown, the former Sixers coach, for coming on with us. And how about that? You know what? He's right. Larry Brown's got a legendary resume. Coached by Dean Smith. Guy played in the ABA, was an NBA ball player, took the Sixers to the NBA Finals against the Lakers. But today, with people he's known being the coach of Allen Iverson. Oh, you coached AI. Oh, wow. He said, you may not know who I am, but I coached Allen Iverson. I'm like, dude, Larry Brown's really one of the greatest coaches, won a national title at Kansas. Okay, I mean, this guy has a great resume on both levels here, so really appreciate the coach stepping in with us, and he does think the Sixers have an opportunity to get all the way to the NBA Finals. All right, let's switch gears and punt it over to football now. But I'll tell you what, man. You talk about Gang Green. The Kelly Greens are coming back, and a man who wore the Kelly Green is right here with us now. He is Mike Golic. Mike, they're bringing the Kellys back.
Yeah, they are. I'm happy about it. First off, too, Larry Brown, man, I used to have him on my show all the time. I mean, that guy, it seems he's coached every team under the sun and every player under the sun. The man has got a whole lot of time coaching basketball. He was always a lot of fun to talk to.
God, man, he just can give you stories coached by Dean Smith and everything here. Mike, let me get you into some of the – Mike, have you ever – you know what? Usually, like you and I played, you saw like 2 transactions in the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the NBA now when we're seeing it. Have you been shocked with the last 2 years with the player movement, especially this year, and the amount of players with the ages and how people are forcing their way now out of these clubs? What's been the transformation in your opinion?
Well, I think the transformation has been money. I mean, listen, these players, we see how quickly, look at the value that the wide receiver went up. I mean, a year or so ago, the top one was 18 million. Now it's 28 million. That's $10 million. I mean, and every wide receiver out there is loving that because it just trickles down to them. We know the quarterbacks are pushing 40 million right now. The cornerbacks, with what went on in Cleveland with Denzel Ward, is now going up as well. So with more money comes power for the players. You look at Deebo Samuel where, and I've always said, now this is mostly with free agency, is people move for different reasons. You move geographically, you move for money, you move for a ring, you move for a family. Everybody is different. Everybody has their own choice. Now players that are going to command the big money, it's all a matter of, can the team pay it? You look at Kansas City. They had a number for Tyreek Hill, and they got blown out of the water because where the wide receiver group went. So they knew they couldn't pay it anymore with foreseeing what cap's going to be. So they got a ton back for it. It looks like Deebo Samuel, from all we understand, just for whatever reasons, and I haven't heard any, I don't know if you have heard any, doesn't want to be in San Francisco, as it doesn't want to be in California. I don't know, because they were willing to pay him.
Yeah, there's a deal on the table, Mike.
Right. So what do you do? See, I've always, because I've heard different answers. So imagine you or I or a GM, and you get a player that says that. There's a lot of GMs that want to say, "Oh, screw him. He can sit then. If you don't want to play for us, he can sit there in the living room. He can watch every day and not make any money, and we'll still have him under contract." Or you can just say, this guy doesn't want to be here. Let's make a good business decision and get all we can for him if we're not going to have his services on the field. So it's just a matter of what direction you want to go. But there's no doubt with the scale of money and where it's going, and the salary cap's going to continue to go up, that the players are going to have more power with this, and they're wielding it. They're wielding it to say, I want to go here.
Mike, do you agree that the 49ers are maybe in a box here in a little bit? And look, John Lynch has done a really nice job building that roster up, but the Garoppolo injury has kept that $25 million on that salary cap. And they've got Nick Bosa coming up on a contract extension this coming year. They probably want to address that. They're over the cap right now. This guy's looking around, like you say. He sees the Devontae Adams deal. He sees the Tyreek Hill deal. He sees what Stephon Diggs got. He sees all the money going here, and he's a hybrid wideout where he carries the ball. He's different in how Kyle Shanahan is using him, and he kind of wants to be paid the same way Jimmy Graham wanted to be paid a couple years ago, wide receiver / tight end, what have you. You think the Niners would have had this deal done had the Garoppolo injury not happened?
Well, I mean, it still sounds like the 49ers want to pay him.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what the numbers are. So I guess I go back to, it sounds like different reasons that he wants to leave, and he certainly has that right. Now, he has the right to have that opinion. Now, does the opinion become fact? Does he draw that line in the sand, and is he willing to sit and lose money? Because if the San Francisco 49ers decide not to trade him and Deebo Samuel says, well, I'm not playing for you anymore, well, then he's going to sit. He's not going to make any money, and he's not going to use up any more time in San Fran. They're going to still have his right. So he's going to have a decision to make. For really, and this is more the exception, the rule of what you're talking about is, do you have enough money? Like Kansas City wasn't going to have enough money. See, they made a lot of their deals. Remember when Mahomes made his deal, but it was still 2 years away from kicking in because it was an extension to his rookie deal. So now it's going to kick in at a big amount. But they paid Kelsey and others to keep players around. So a lot of it is, how well are you managing the cap? Not this year, but over the next 3 or 4 years, especially these teams that have quarterbacks that are still on rookie deals. You have a year or two, depending on how many years the guy's been in the league, to make other deals before your quarterback deal kicks in. So how well do you spend your money is going to be the key, because some of these players ain't taking about, discounts anymore. Their money is too big, and it is jumping up at huge rates to make the franchise tag numbers go up as well down the road. So these guys want their money, and there are teams out there that'll pay it.
Absolutely. And speaking of teams paying it, a team in your neck of the woods or your home neck of the woods, that's the Cleveland Browns. I gave Andrew Berry the offseason General Manager of the Year award already in the NFL. I mean, look what he did with Ward. Look what he did with the quarterback. He's got an edge rusher in Myles Garrett. They probably have to figure out the wide receiver. But, Mike, when you look at that game plan there and how they're going at it and how they're looking at it, they're taking a page kind of out of the Rams on what Kevin Demoff and what Les Snead are doing. If you have a great corner, you have an edge rusher, you have a quarterback, those three positions are the key positions today in winning a Super Bowl. Do you agree? Where you could fill in the rest of the parts with kind of checkers and chess pieces. Those are the three positions you have to have premium money to be paid on.
I thought the Browns had done a great job, after going to the playoffs and beating Pittsburgh, and you're ready for them to take the next step. I love the moves they made in the offseason. They had one of the best offensive lines around. You talk about edge rusher and corner, you're exactly right. And then Baker is Baker, whether you want to put it on injury, but Baker's had a good year, bad year, good year, bad year. Now he was injured, so how much you put into that, and they've obviously are going to move on from him. I love where they are. You got Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is one of the great route runners there is. So you got him. I know you lost Landry, but that's okay. I'll take Cooper over Landry.
Me too.
You have, Njoku, or the guy you put your money into at tight end. You didn't get the hit with Hooper when you brought him in from Atlanta at tight end. You lost your center, but you signed another one. You got two excellent backs. You got a good defense. You still have a good old line. I mean, the NFC North, with the Bengals, who aren't going anywhere, they did exactly what they needed to do and improved at least 3/5 and maybe after the draft 4/5 of their offensive line, which is what they needed to do. You have Baltimore still there with Lamar Jackson, even though they can't seem to get over the hump in the playoffs, but they're good. Pittsburgh will wait and see. Excellent defense. Is Mitch Trubisky going to be the guy? How can he lead them? But I like that division. I think it's a very competitive division, and I think the Browns are right there. Now, you have to wait and see how much time Deshaun Watson is going to miss. He's going to miss time. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's just a matter of how many games he's going to miss. And then what happens with Baker Mayfield? Can they dump him? Can they trade him? Are they going to have to cut him? What do they do with that 18 mil? Do they keep him on the team and said, you're going to be the guy until Deshaun Watson's back from suspension? It's still kind of interesting where that one's going to go.
Mike, I gotta tell you a story today here, and it happened to me, and I am so thankful you're on here. I've had some conversations with the Eagles, and they're a little bit perturbed with me because I've been critical of Howie Roseman and how he has built the football team. And I have been critical because Pro Football Focus has said the last 4 years, the worst drafting team has been the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to premium picks. And I would love your assessment of how you see him and how he's handled the football team and building it and putting the keys in the hands of Jalen Hurts.
Oh, listen, overall, I don't think they've done a great job. I mean, they still need more weapons for Jalen Hurts. You know, I know they got Devontae Smith, but I mean, you know, they struck out with Rager unless he's going to maybe be a late bloomer. I don't know. You know, they got a couple of picks. They made that trade with New Orleans. I could see them going DB and wide receiver with those picks. I think both are in the teens.
Yep.
But I think there's a combination of who they picked and then the injury bug. Because a couple of years ago, the O-line got decimated by injuries. And as you know as well as I, we can make all the predictions we want about we think they have a lot of talent or less talent, but you can never predict injury. And all of a sudden you become that mash unit for the year, like San Fran was a couple of years ago. I think Baltimore was last year. There's always a team or two, you know, that has that mash unit on them. And the Eagles were that a bit. But it does come down to, you know, you need that quarterback. They struck out with Carson Wentz, no doubt about that. And now it's kind of like, yeah, Jalen, you're the guy. We hope, you know, I mean, I think there's still, we hope there because they have to become a better passing team. We know they're an excellent running team, and a lot of that is because of Jalen Hurts. And quite honestly, I was more critical of the way they were playing. The defense wasn't aggressive. The offense wasn't running the ball enough, especially early in the season. I'm like, my God, use it. You know, help Jalen out. He's not just a great passer. He needs help by the running game, so run. Now you're running a ton, but now you do need to pass as well, so you need more weapons as well. So I would agree with you. I think some of their picks have not panned out the way you thought they would pan out. I still think Jalen Hurts, while I would keep him as my quarterback now because I don't know where else you were going to go unless you were going to try and trade for one of the guys out there like a Russell Wilson. I never thought Aaron Rodgers was going anywhere. Or you wait and see what next year's quarterback crop brings because this year doesn't seem to be a high hitting. At least we don't know, but we see hits and misses at the first round of quarterback all the time. But I would agree with you. I don't think some of the picks have been great, but I think the injury bug has kind of attacked them pretty good too.
Two last questions for you, Mike. And if we're going to believe that Jalen's the guy in Philly, then utilize the rookie contract, Mike. Look what they're doing in Miami. Yep. Jalen Waddle gets 104 in catches last year with Jacoby Brissett and Tua in and out of the lineup. They go get Tyreek Hill. I think that Tyreek Hill move, Mike, was more about Tua and them finding out whether or not Tua's the guy or not. So to me, when you see, look, I mean, Allen Robinson, he goes to the Rams. They're going to get probably Odell Beckham back in November. What I'm saying is if you really believe in the guy, going out and getting Zach Pascal and having two rookie wideouts on rookie contracts, okay, if he's your guy, why aren't you going out and getting the Alshon Jeffries like you did for Carson Wentz when Wentz was under contract with you? To me, it's you're saying he's the guy, but you're really not showing the office and you're really not showing the locker room that you're really vested in him. That's just my perception.
No, I completely agree. You have Devontae Smith and you have Dallas Goedert, right?
Right.
That's pretty much it. You know, I mean, as I said, Rager, we're still waiting. 33 receptions last year, played all 17 games. I mean, he is not panning out for that first-round pick right now. So I'm with you. Money's been out there. Bring somebody in. Jalen Hurts, this team can't just pass. They're a better running team than a passing team. But if you want to be a good mixture and you run well, so it should set you up to pass well with play action, especially with a quarterback that can boot, half roll, and do all that fun stuff out there. But you need some more hitters, you know, on the outside catching the ball. So I'm with you. You know, there was movement. Now, I know this is a deep wide receiver class coming in. And even if one of their two picks, I'm sure will go for one, and they should get a good one. But it's tough. But though we have seen, you know, Justin Jefferson come in and play well, T. Higgins play well. Obviously, Jamar Chase came in and played well. So even Devontae Smith, after getting through the injuries and stuff, I like how he has played. So you can get young guys to come in and play well, but I would have thought they would have tried to load that up a little more for Jalen.
Okay, Mike, I got to finish this off with you here. What do you make of the Notre Dame guy going down to LSU? Hi, everybody. Guy's from Vermont. He's from Vermont. I mean, Notre Dame's going to be Notre Dame. It's always going to be all good. But the exit, Mike, you couldn't have been happy with the way the thing planned out.
And you're right. Well, listen, he's the one that's got to live with the accent he's doing and the dancing he's doing on the TikTok and all that. I mean, wow. And by the way, did you just see the stat that came out? 20% of their roster is in the transfer portal.
Wow.
So, yeah, 20% of their roster is in the transfer portal.
Hey, he must be swearing at him. Notre Dame had a problem with his language there.
So here's the thing about Brian Kelly. I understand it. Listen, players, coaches, move all the time. The surprising thing, Dan, was the fact that nobody usually leaves Notre Dame. Usually you retire from coaching or you're fired. He chose to leave. Now, if you cut through all he says and listen to his reasons, I understand it. The only thing missing from his resume is a national championship, right? He's pretty much done just about everything else. So he does have a better chance year in and year out to win with LSU and the recruits he can get there because of the restrictions you can have at Notre Dame. Notre Dame can win a title, but they'll be up to close to a title, and then they'll be down. And when I say down, still a top 10, top 15 team.
Yeah, 10-2 is down.
Yeah, exactly. But LSU, with who they can bring as opposed and the depth that they can have because of that, gives him probably a better chance year in and year out. Again, I still think Notre Dame can win. And listen, obviously I'd love to see Notre Dame win a title before LSU won a title. I think that would be great. But some of the shots he's taken, I got guys down here that want to be great. Well, don't give me that. Don't tell me guys that are coming in at Notre Dame don't want to be great. They all want to be great. That's a great school that puts out great players. They have to be a little different at times with the restrictions of coming in, but they want to be great. So you can go down there and give your reasons, and that's fine, but don't start banging on the players and don't start saying you did everything you possibly could and blame everything on the school and on the players. Look in the mirror a little bit. Listen, it's all when you're not winning. And again, for Notre Dame, it's the title. Because there's no, conference, you got to win the title. And they didn't. They got the closest when my two boys were there, Jake and Mike, when they lost to Bama in 2013 in the title game. But everybody needs a look in the mirror, including Brian Kelly. And he seemed to want to put it off on Notre Dame and the players a little too much for my liking. So, again, I get his reasons, and coaches are allowed to move, do your thing. I just hate when they do a little either kind of subtly or not so subtly bang the play, say left. There's just no need to do it.
Dude, don't lie. Just say you took the $100 million. I mean,
yeah, listen, you're securing that. Yes, there's nothing wrong with saying I did it for the money as well. I mean, everybody's out there looking for a great deal.
Absolutely. Hey, real quick, Mike, tell people what's going to be happening. From what I'm reading, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you and your boy are going to be starting up a brand new podcast.
Well, not together immediately. We're both. I'm doing DraftKings. There you go. And down the road, we may hook up together again. You know what? He's 32. He needs to do his own thing as well before Dad, comes and jumps in.
Dad put him in training wheels.
Right. And he's done very well. He's now kicked those training wheels off. I would say down the road at some point, he and I will definitely be working together again at some point. Just how much I don't know, but it's always fun to work with your kid. Ain't no doubt about that. I love doing that at ESPN.
Absolutely. Mike, thank you so much for so much time. I really appreciate it so much, man. I know your schedule's tight and you always find time for me. Thank you so much.
All right, Dan, us D-line, we got to stick together, man.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. That is Mike Golic. All right. Hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.